Hey guys, it's Steve for CollectorMania. I'm here doing another deck tech for you. This is my Erebos God of the Dead deck. It's a really awesome deck that I enjoy playing a lot. It has a lot of upside on it, Erebos being one of my favorite card draw engines out there, especially in this color. Paying 2 life isn't a huge deal to me, draw a card. I don't mind that trade-off there. Plus with the upside of your opponents not being able to gain life, really cool. Turns into, of course, a 5/7 indestructible beater late game. But yeah, we'll kind of get into it here. You'll see as we go through, there's a lot of high mana cost, like triple black, double black kind of things. And that's purely there, for the devotion, of course. But a lot of those cards are also just really good in the deck. So anyway, here we'll see a Merit Lage token. This definitely is a pretty cool addition. I got it way, when From the Vault store came out. I just thought, this was the deck that would take the most advantage of Dark Depths, and so it's in here. So here's the token, of course. And then we've got a Liliana the Veil, great for devotion, also good for kind of the sub-theme of the deck, which is discard. The -2 isn't bad either. Having an opponent to sacrifice a creature is great. I haven't played this card for a very long time, so I'm excited to test it out again. Of course, got it in my Modern Masters 2017 box, but really awesome. And we've got a Blood Artist. Life loss is definitely a thing that you do to yourself a lot with this commander, but we have a lot of tricks in here that will definitely gain us life over the long haul. And this is one of the really good ones. Then we've got a Nizumi Grave Robber, great for exiling cards out of people's graveyards, and then late, flipping and turning into something that can steal all those things that you left in there. So, really cool card. Vampire Hexmage, here for the devotion, but also here for the Dark Depths. Really cool card, 2/1 first strike, not bad at all. Plus, it can also, nuke a pesky planeswalker if you need to, or a creature with a bunch of counters on it. And we've got Kiku Knight's Flower. I know this is in Japanese, and you guys are probably like, well, I've never seen this card before. Mainly here, once again, for the double black devotion, but also has the huge upside of being able to tap for 4 and then basically deal one of your opponent's creatures damage equal to its power. That's right. Really cool card. I actually got it in Japan this last summer. That's mainly why I keep it around, but it's also just really cool and nostalgic, and I like playing it. Then we've got a Burnished Heart, great for mana ramp, of course, in these non-green decks, as we've talked about. Then we've got Yahini, great sack outlet. Really cool to have a board wipe go off and then have this guy sitting there looking at all your opponents with a million counters on it. Yeah, just awesome. I've been recently sticking in pretty much everywhere I can. I think I have like 5 copies of this card at this point. It's awesome. I really also, I shouldn't, but I kind of want to build a 1v1 deck around this guy. We've got a Fleshbag Marauder. This definitely has impacted a lot of games for me. That turn where everybody's just like, I'll play my commander, I'll play my commander. And you're just like, I'll play this Fleshbag Marauder. Ha! Really fun card. Then we've got a Feomancer. As we've talked about, sacrifice is definitely a thing. Mono black that's kind of one of their signature kind of moves, I guess. But, having a snake at each upkeep to sacrifice is great. Plus, they can be really pesky. 1/1 death touchers. Anybody that's trying to beat you up, to the face with ground pounders, this will definitely stop a lot of them. So, really cool card. Then we've got Liliana, Heretical Healer. Really cool card. There's a lot of things getting sacked in here, of course, as we've talked about. Lifelink is a thing. The 2/2 zombie matters as well, but the flip is what we really are after here. The +2 discard is great. The -X is awesome. I've brought back, I don't know how many Fleshbag Marauders with this card. Even a Feomancer, pretty much any of those guys. It usually doesn't stick around to get the big stuff. Usually people are kind of wise to it. You're discarding whatever you want to get back. You want the +1 or +2 and then minusing for the other half of it. But really cool card. We've got a Vampire Hexmage, great for devotion, great for pretty much blocking anything that you need to. There's a lot of people that will not swing at you if you have this out just because they know it's going to die, plus a little bit of life gain, as we've talked about. I've got a Solemn Simulacrum. I think we've talked about this pretty much every video now, but this guy is pretty much a commander staple. Being able to go get a land, mana ramp you, and then being able to die and draw you a card. In this deck, especially being able to recur it and then do it all over again is great. Disciple of Bolas, another one of those cards that, I don't know, a lot of people just don't seem to play for some weird reason, in my opinion. It's just like, what do you guys not see in this thing? I've definitely sacrificed Erebos to it a few times. It definitely can be really powerful. You know, seems counterintuitive, but it definitely will gain you the life that you need and draw you the cards that you need. We've got a Corpse Augur, kind of the opposite of that. You lose life, and you know it can be really good. I've had it be really bad where everybody has just terrible graveyards where it's either you have 50 cards in there or you have 2 cards in there, and you know obviously you're going to choose the 2, but I kind of want a nice medium like 5, 5, 6, something like that, but still pretty cool card. I've got a Cryptghast, kind of a mono black staple, great for doubling your swamps, and the extort really does come into play in this deck a lot too with the life loss, so we definitely need it. I've got a Sidisi. I don't really run a whole lot of tutor in my decks. This is probably the one with the most, to be honest. It's definitely not something I like to play around with too much, but in this deck I kind of just just went with it. It is mono black, so it kind of just makes sense on theme. So anyway, Sidisi, great for getting that sack trigger and then finding you whatever you need. Usually you sacrifice a snake or a solemn, something that's not too important, then you just grab whatever card you're looking for. I've got a Gary. Great for gaining you all that life back that you're paying, to draw cards with Erebos. I've also seen it just sap people dead. If you put this, cast it, put it in the graveyard, then reanimate it, somebody might be dead. So yeah, Gary, awesome card. I've got a Banshee the Dreadchoir. Really cool card for the kind of sub-theme of discard. Awesome. I've played around with it for quite a bit. As I've talked about before, I love Myriad as a mechanic. I hope one day they bring it back. I really do. I kind of doubt they will, but you never know. Bloodgift Demon, 5/4 flyer, or 5/4 for Phyrexian Arena, as many people look at it. But a lot of people kind of ignore the fact that it can actually kill your opponent when you need it to. So yeah, cool. I've got a Grave Titan. A card that I actually got from a friend a long time ago. He got it for me when I was playing it in Standard. Really cool card, though. Makes a bunch of tokens when you need it to, plus 6/6 Death Touch. It's just awesome. I've got a Thief of Blood. This is probably, honestly, going to come out here pretty soon. It's okay. I haven't really found a whole lot of success with it. I mean, the times that it's good, it's really good, but most of the time it's just kind of a dead card. I don't know. We'll hopefully find a replacement or, find more use for it, I guess. And we've got a Scythe Spectre. Cool card, added in here recently. It kind of really works with that whole discard theme that I'm going for. Plus, it's really surprised me how effective it is sometimes. So yeah, cool card. Then we've got a Necrona Revenant. Kind of the same thing as the Cryptghast, doubling your swamps. It's really important in this color. Now we've got a Massacre Worm. This will definitely wipe the board a lot of times, when you're playing against token decks or decks that just rely really heavily on a bunch of small creatures. Can definitely kill your opponents a lot of the times too. Now we've got a Herald of Anguish. Kind of a new addition as well. The discard trigger is really what I'm after here. The pay 2 and then sacrifice an artifact really isn't used that much in this deck. I'm kind of trying it out. It's pretty cool. I love the card, but I don't know if this is the right place for it. We'll kind of see in more playtesting. And I've got a Cephalocoral Primordial. Sepulchral. I always say it wrong. My friends always get on me about it, but it's one of those kind of things. But anyway, great card. Just coming in and stealing a creature from each of your opponent's graveyards is great. It definitely is one of my favorites. I've got Children of the Whispering One. This is usually either used as the commander or in the deck. It definitely is one of those mono black staples at this point. It has made its rounds. The Swamp Walk usually matters, to be honest. Usually, you throw down that Urborg and then you're going to town on somebody, you're just beating them up. So and you've got a Myojin of Night's Reach, great for kind of hosing all of your opponents at the same time, making them each discard their hands, especially when somebody has like 20 cards in their hand with the Reliquary Tower, and you're just like, well, it doesn't matter now. Awesome cards. Then we've got Elixir Immortality. The reshuffle is great, plus the life gain is really, awesome in this deck as well. Skull Clamp, great for all those little creatures that we're going to be sacrificing. Good card draw engine, and, just all around good card. Soul Ring, what to do with this. We've got a Mind Stone, a little bit more mana ramp, and card draw. Swiftfoot Boots, giving things hexproof. Cold Steel Heart. I don't know. I like this card, but it may not belong in here. It's okay. Thought Vessel. This is definitely, great mana ramp, but also, once again, with that unlimited hand size is just awesome. So this card is definitely a winner in here. I've got Ashnod's Altar, sack outlet, free sack outlet, plus gains you 2 colorless mana. Worn Power Stone, a little bit of mana ramp again. Mimic Vat, this, as we've talked about, has a lot of things dying, usually on your side and your opponent's side, so being able to snag your Fleshback Marauder or their, Consecrated Sphinx when you need it, or, pretty much whatever you want. Awesome. Hedron Archive, I've talked about this card I don't know how many times already, but I'll keep talking about it until I, drill it into everybody's brain. It's just amazing early, and then late you just sacrifice to draw 2 cards. I mean, what can be better than that? Allhammer its Archive. The life gain, once again, is really important. The draw is, of course, really cool too, but the life gain is really why this card is in here, because sometimes you really get yourself pretty low, but this definitely makes up for all that. And we've got a Waste Not, great for kind of the sub-theme. Just having a whole bunch of triggers on this is great. Animate Dead, another Japanese card that I actually got in Japan as well. I pulled this in a Eternal Masters pack while I was there. It was a pretty cool find. But anyway, I should probably talk about what the card does. Duh, for those that don't know what it does. Basically, you enchant any creature that's in a graveyard, and then it comes into play under your control. It's a little fragile, because if the enchantment or the creature leaves, they both, go, essentially, but pretty cool. Then we've got a Phyrexian Arena. Really good card draw for black. Underworld Dreams. This is mainly here for the triple black devotion, but also, I don't know, it definitely has mattered sometimes where people are playing early game, card draw craziness, shenanigans, and then you play this. It's really cool when somebody plays a Nekusar, and then you're just, dealing a whole bunch of damage to everybody. We've got a Necropotence here. This is the first version of this card I've ever actually owned. It's really, really cool. Eternal Masters was really good to me. It definitely got me a lot of cards for a lot of decks that I needed. Awesome card. I recommend it. Plus triple black. Once again, devotion, great. Then we've got a Whip of Erebos, life gain, and then reanimation all in one package. Great. Plus, it's his whip. We can't not run his whip. Then we've got a Leyline of the Void. Great for just hosing over graveyard decks. It is really good on turn 0, of course, when you can just play it for free. But, if you need to late game, it's also really good. Just awesome card. Grave Pact. Getting back to the sack again, this definitely makes a huge impact when it hits the board. The triple black devotion, pretty much this is everything I want in a card right here. It works amazing with Geomancer, as we've talked about before, or pretty much anything. It's just an all-around great card. Grave Pact, great. I've got Exquisite Blood. As we've talked about, the life gain really does matter a lot of times, and this really definitely has a huge impact on your life loss for your card draw. Go for the throat, a little bit of removal here. Malicious Affliction, the only downside is it can't hit black creatures, but, triggering the Morbid is really, really easy. Hero's Downfall, killing a creature or a planeswalker, awesome. Sudden Spoiling, kind of the mono black equivalent of maybe not Cyclonic Rift, but Aetherize definitely. So really cool card. Black Sun Zenith, really cool board wipe. -1 counters are really awesome, so yeah, cool card. Innocent Blood, kind of an even earlier Fleshbag Marauder. Awesome card. Usually gets a lot of mana dorks, which can set people back, so awesome. Demonic Tutor. As I've talked about, I don't really run a whole lot of tutors in my decks, but this is definitely the one that I run a lot of them in, you know. This is also one of my first altars that I ever produced, and it definitely is really cool, kind of nostalgic at this point. Love the card. Victimize, a little bit of reanimation, plus sack outlet, or sack trigger. Buried Alive, ways to get things to reanimate, really. Beseech the Queen, another tutor. Gehenni's Expertise. Kind of a weird-ish board wipe. I don't know. It's probably not going to make the final cut. It'll probably come out here pretty soon as soon as I find something else that I like a little bit, you know, more. It's okay, though. I mean, I think it would work a little bit better in like a 1v1 scenario. But for now, it'll work. Dread Return, a little bit of reanimation again. Living Death, a lot of bit of reanimation. Plus it can hose over your opponents that have a huge indestructible or hexproof board. Getting into our lands here, we've got a Cabal Coffers, of course. It's mono black. Urborg, of course, that goes right along with Cabal Coffers. Crypt of Agadeem, this is kind of like a budget-ish version of Cabal Coffers, or I guess even if you look at it in a way, Gaia's Cradle or anything like that. It's pretty cool. I recommend it to anybody that's looking to spice up their mana base, but not for a whole lot. Pretty cool card. Ancient Tomb, way to get things out a little bit earlier. Lotus Veil, another way to kind of ramp a little bit early. Temple of the False God, a little bit of mana ramp again. Thespian Sage, basically just copy any land that you like. Mirror in the Moaning Well. Really good sack outlet once again, plus the life gain once again, you know, really matters in this deck. The downside is, you know, of course, I've definitely had that situation. There's so many colorless lands in this deck where I've kind of messed myself up a little bit, but I don't know. I'm kind of picking and choosing the ones I like here most, and eventually I'll get it right. High Market, kind of another way to do exactly what the Mirror of the Moaning Well does, except for just a little bit worse, but not bad. Then we've got Dark Depths. Of course, with the Merit Lage token, this goes right along with, you know, the Vampire Hex Mage and pretty much all those fun tricks to get that out early. Really cool card. I believe the rest are just swamps. So anyway, that is my Erebos God of the Dead deck. I know this video is going a little bit long, so I'm going to try and close it up here pretty quick. What I guess I'd like to say is thanks for all the comments, and guys, if you just keep putting them on there, we'll definitely, you know, start listening. We definitely took the advice to get the tapped out account going. We're going to start, you know, linking them up so you guys can check out the deck lists on tapped out, and there'll be a link in the description here. But with that, that's the deck tech, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.